Back at the Baja 1000, Jerry Garrett along with Spencer Lowe, and we've been joined now in our broadcast position by Ivan the Iron Man Stewart. We're sorry he's out of the race, but he can add a lot to our broadcast the rest of the way, I'm sure.
Well, Jerry, I sure wish I was in this race, but we had some problems, and maybe I can kind of let the fans know what's going through the racer's mind in this long Baja 1000.
Well, right now we're looking at a pit stop by John Swift in the Ford Explorer, another one of the Rough Rider team vehicles, and he's had a great race so far, Ivan.
Well, you know, John's been tougher than heck in Mexico, and he's a great competitor, and this truck has been very, very good to him down here, so he's going to have a very quick pit stop.
Well, he's had almost no troubles all the last 2 years since that thing's been introduced, and he's had a trouble-free race so far today. Well, next into this pit area, this seems to be David Ashley. You can tell David Ashley from those flashing red lights. That's about the only way you can tell some of these Rough Rider vehicles apart, since they're all painted the same.
Well, he's got to get into his pit. He's also got a motorcycle he's got to watch out for here. But those red lights are a great idea.
Well, we saw David Ashley stop a little farther back up the course for a pit stop. I guess everything was routine more or less on that because he's well up in the order. We're looking at people that are in the top 10 overall right now.
Well, Jerry, you know, Dave has been tough. Again, in Mexico, he's always tough. And he's finished up in the overall a lot here lately.
Well, it looks like mostly routine work going on in this truck. They're cleaning the lights on because it's almost time to put the lights on out here, and you want every ounce of candle power you can have at night here, don't you?
Well, there's no doubt. In fact, this stretch that he's going to negotiate next is going to be a lot of ditches between L.A. Bay and El Arco, so he's going to, as you say, Jerry, he's going to need every bit of light he can get. They want to get the gas in, double-check this truck, and send him on his way. He's probably got another, 120 miles to negotiate between here and El Arco.
Well, everything seems to be routine up to this point. That's Bill Strop, a famous name in off-road racing. They're supervising this pit stop. The Strop Motorsports transporter right here. We ought to mention how these guys kind of team up to have pits all the way down. You need a half a dozen pits at least.
Well, you really do, and to team up with the tire manufacturers get together and the truck manufacturers, and it just looks like Parnelli Jones here.
Now, this is Strop's driver, Parnelli Jones, a legend, the 1963 Indy 500 winner, driving in Class 7 for unlimited mini pickups today, but he's driving, Ivan, like he's driving for the overall victory.
He's going extremely fast. Parnelli's always been my hero. He's very fast, always been aggressive, and he's a man that'll stand on the gas pedal, let me tell you.
Well, he seems to want something done there.
He's trying to get him to do something or check something. He may have some sort of a problem he wants him to look at.
Well, there's that famous Parnelli Jones temper. He says, check the transmission. I don't want a quart of transmission fluid in the cab here with me. I want you to pour the transmission fluid in the engine. Apparently it's overheating.
And Parnelli can get mad, let me tell you.
Well, this race means a lot to him. I mean, Parnelli Jones is synonymous with desert racing, and he'd like nothing better at his age to win this race again overall.
Well, he would like to, there's no doubt. If he could have started up front, he started way back here, Jerry, back with the Class 7s, and had he started up front with the 1-2s and got up in that front runners, he could have, and still maybe a challenge for the overall.
Well, they're putting a couple of quarts of transmission fluid in there. You can see how dirty the vehicle is. That's a consequence of coming up through the pack, isn't it?
That's exactly right. He's passed a lot of cars, and he's still excited about something. He still wants something done or something checked that he can't get him to look at.
Well, he'd like David Ashley's vehicle out of the way, and he'd like to have gotten out of the pits before Bill Church left. He had passed Church before he came in, and now he's got to pass him again.
Well, and that's what a shame is. I'm sure that's what he's irritated about. Now he's got to chase Bill Church down this long section of dirt road. It's got a lot of ditches in it, and he's irritated. I don't blame him.
It's basically a one-lane track for a long time from here. No passing.
With lots and lots of ditches. That's exactly right.
Well, here now is Larry Ragland. I guess somebody's finally gone out and rescued him with a spare tire. I don't think that he's got the same fight in him that he had before when he was running up front. He's lost at least 45 minutes right here and is probably out of the overall picture.
Well, knowing Larry like I know, I mean, he wants this overall victory. I mean, it's very important to him to win races in the class, I'm sure, but he also wants the overall, and he's irritated, I'm sure. He's had problems and lost some tires and lost a lot of time, and he's lost the side of his truck also, Jerry.
Well, you hate to lose that much time just sitting there waiting for somebody to bring by a spare. If it was really something wrong with the truck, I guess it'd be a little easier to reconcile.
Well, you know, that little stretch of highway that he was on is really noted for giving a lot of people a lot of trouble. In fact, one year in the Baja 1000, it cost me a lot of time. So tires heat up on that section of pavement, CV joints heat up, and obviously they've sure cost Larry a lot of time here.
Well, a little indecision right here in the pits. They're looking around. There's nobody here from the Nelson & Nelson team to advise them. The game plan was to win the race overall. If you can't do that, park it. They obviously are up against it if they want to try and win it overall because of the downtime they've had. They can't decide whether they should drop out. They can't get a hold of team owner John Nelson, so what do you do?
Well, Jerry, I tell you, this is a long, long, long race, as you know, and you got to keep going. It's just like he's going to do. You just cannot give up. You just never know what your competition is going to do. You just got to get out on the road and just do the best you can do.
There doesn't seem to be anything else wrong with the truck. They may have broken a shock absorber or two back there. There's still a lot of work going on. David Ashley's never left the pits up here. They've apparently got a problem with the rear end. He's losing a lot of time right here, right now.
Well, absolutely. They're worried about something. They're looking. He must have a rear end leaking or something that's, they're smart. I tell you, like I say, it's a long race. You've got to really make sure this truck is in good shape before it leaves this pit. It'd be silly to leave with a major problem.
Well, while the crew works on David Ashley's vehicle, David Ashley works on his teammate's vehicle. It's David helping turn the lights on and aim them for his teammate Dan Smith, who's in the pits. Now, the engine, Ivan, is not running in Dan Smith's truck. Does that indicate a problem?
Well, it worries me to turn the motor off because I'm always afraid we can't get it started again. But evidently they've got some kind of a longer pit stop, and it doesn't bother them to turn it off.
How long have you been here, Dave?
A lot of work going on here. Let's ask Dave Ashley what the problem is on his vehicle.
Rear end?
It's got a small crack in it, but we're getting it fixed.
Okay.
No problem. Long race yet.
Well, that's an understatement. There aren't any races that I know of that are longer on this hemisphere of the world. 42 hours is the time limit for some of these drivers. We've got a long ways to go. We'll be back for more from the Baja 1000 right after this.